organized crime, illegal technology, or the mafia 3.0, as it's sometimes called. Illegal technology, like having this guitar in the woods and a cell phone, when other people, well, we acknowledge that back in the day, the forest was our home because it kept the rain off of us, which we used to shower, which is why it's called a shower. And we were probably naked for the most part, some of us anyway, maybe loincloths, but yeah, okay, we like to be naked, and as long as possible, until someone pointed out to us, hey, why not put some clothes on? It's illegal to be naked. And you're like, dang, I didn't know that. Should somebody go to jail because nobody told them that it was illegal to be naked, and then they grew up all of a sudden and they were an adult, and they were like, oh, you're not allowed to be naked. And you're like, what? I've always been naked. They're like, oh, what? Really? And you say, yeah. When did you start wearing clothes? Anyway, I use this cell phone, which is actually a computer, for work, which is fun. And, of course, telling stories, because my Bible fell apart really quickly, which is why I leave it in the back seat of my car I was sitting at. Yes, I got that, Dewey. Anyway, that was the true story. And never, even if you have back pain, drink and drive, even if you're supposed to be on strong opiates, and you were not on those, and instead got a little buzzed and waited a couple hours and drove. Never drink and drive at all. And make sure to take any kind of medication the doctor prescribes responsibly as directed. Otherwise, you don't get the full benefits, they say. Anyway, don't do drugs if you can help it, because they're not good. But medication is what people need sometimes to get through their day. And because of this, well, they go to doctors and stuff. And hopefully those doctors put them on the right medication. Anyway, some people, maybe just voices in my head, maybe a-hole, judgy a-holes who aren't really people I like to hang around, which is why they don't come around, because I really am not into judgmental people. They think they have good taste, and then they give their opinions for no reason, judging things when you're not a judgy person, and maybe you don't like to admit it, but you have good taste. Most of that's just ego, which is why they give their opinion without being asked, because they think it's important. However, everybody has opinions. As long as you know when to give them at the right time, and to who, then you're doing fine. Otherwise, you get all, caught up in the wrong place, wrong time type of things, and maybe people hate you for it. Or they hate you for no reason, when really they should just hate on themselves. Could just be an act, who knows? Gaylord probably knows. Yeah, I remember that guy. He used to hang around Kodiak. I'd run into him in the middle of the night. He was homeless and stuff. He would always try and get me to do illegal activities. And I said, no, dude, I'm overstaying right now. Or he'd get me to take. Never mind. There's no need to know. But it was nothing disgusting. Like, what's legal type of thing. And anyway, I usually say no. Because he just wanted to, who knows, maybe he didn't have an agenda. Some people don't, There's really people out there that don't have agendas, that just do what they do, and do it because it's fun. Or for whatever reason, or just because they want to. Or maybe they can't help themselves. And those people are just fine, for the most part, when they quit letting other people pretend that they're judgy people, or try and turn them into judgy people. like those ever exist to begin with before people convinced you it was the right way. So the problem is when so many people have judgmental attitudes for no reason, just because they think you're judgy when you're not, or just because, they are and can't see that you're not. Anyway, illegal technology is not illegal to people that don't know it's illegal. No one makes up these rules and then suddenly you find out about them one day because of some voice in your head who's arrogant as fuck and judgy and lame. And you think, are you just telling a cool story or are you being serious? It's usually a combination of both. Anyway, you have to tell them eventually, like, hey, you think about it like that, forcing your opinion on me. And my opinion isn't forced on anybody, but it's still going to be my opinion, whether you're right or not. Because my reality isn't the same as yours. I like to have fun, and I also like to just be me, and not be all like, why would I dislike myself? I go out of my way every day to not dislike myself easily by not being around people that make me dislike myself, by disliking themselves. It's like, I would like you a lot better if you liked yourself, and then you would like yourself better too. And it would make it a lot easier too. Like making love with a woman and having her say I love you after you're done. And then like you say I love you back and you mean it. Because at that point you do. And it's awesome. You're like, whoa. Did she do that on purpose or is she just good at stuff? Either way, it's still cool. It makes it so much easier too. Saying I love you at the right time. Otherwise, you can be overcome with those emotions. Usually after you just have kids and stuff. But it doesn't have to be manipulative to recognize that, oh, of course, if you look at it from the wrong way, it would be manipulative. But that would only be if you were a manipulative person. But if you're not, then it just is irrelevant. People might think you are, but that's because they are at that point. And that's why you gotta stay away from those types of people, or at least have the knowledge that that isn't you. That was never you. It was just somebody tried to turn you into one time. And because of that, you're not having as much fun as you could. That's why people go to comedy clubs, to get scared and laugh nervously all night. Organized Crime, The Mafia 3.0 by Timothy Kimmel Jr. It is safe to say that we wouldn't get ourselves into situations if it wasn't just the life that we live, or not just the life that we live and the people that turn us into ourselves, but also if we recognize who ourselves truly are. If you were never allowed to grow up because you were raised by a bunch of little kids, would you recognize a grown-up if you saw one? What was first becomes last. What was last becomes first. What was first becomes last. What was last becomes thinner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. The words long written down in the Bible before they had been changed by a reality shifter named Emilio Esteve. The stuff and cracks in the duffel. He got life. And if you've been doing life, you can't fucking fall in love with anybody. But I'd like you a lot better if you liked yourself. Love yourself. It would be a hell of a lot easier to like saying I love you at the right time. Knowing the difference between movie magic, sleight of hand, and being some sort of weird mutant. It's easy to get lost along the way. But if you just do things for the reasons that they're supposed to, like there's one reality, there's at least two reasons for everything. And that's reality for doing anything, I mean. Not for why they happen, but for why other people decide to do something. Or, like, it's why things are invented, and then other people start doing them. But they don't know the reason why. And then one day, you reinvent what's already been invented by discovering the reason why, and then knowing how to use it correctly. And then it hits you like an epiphany. Oh, this is why those people do that. Are they aware of the actual reason? I'm sure some of them are. Reasons, actually. At that point, it doesn't matter because they all have their own reasons. And it all kind of just turns into other people knowing that you have knowledge of other ways. They want to take advantage of that kind of medicine because spiritual medicine is a whole nother reality. It involves just doing things for yourself to be healthy, like eating the right kinds of foods, drinking plenty of liquids, and in turn, being healthier inspires other people to be healthier around you as well, no matter what they're doing. And because of this, we have a healthier world. Look, now, they're slow, but they always get where they're going. You know, some people back in the day when they were hungry as kids, there's always food around. Hakuna Matata. When they were hungry as kids, they would fry up some worms or something. Because other people, as kids, I guess they just ate them raw. Might be better for you, might not. Might cause heartburn. But frying them up was actually pretty good. Then your parents get home with some food and they're like, oh, here's food. And they're like, oh, I already ate, you know. And they're like, are you eating worms? But they're judgmental people. And they're not as much fun by then. Because it takes a while to teach them how to be adults. Not be judgmental all the time. Or at all. Because when you like something, you don't have to try everything to not be judgmental. You just gotta, keep in mind that to know what you're into based on what gets you there. That way, you'll just be being yourself anyway, which is always easier than trying to impress people by being somebody you're not and then making them dislike you when they realize they don't know who they are, and neither do you. So you just say, well, I don't know, but I'm just being myself, so don't take it personally, if that's the thing. Like, some people are nice to other people for no reason, and I'm one of those types of people, but I can still be an a-hole for no reason too. And yet, usually there is a reason, because other people maybe want to try and see if they can piss me off or push my buttons for no other reason than I'm not easy to make mad. But what kind of people are actually like that, if that's a thing? And I'd say, I don't know, but it sounds like they probably get mad easily. Which is why they were assuming that I would. Who knows? Maybe not, though. But there ain't nothing to be mad about. There ain't nothing to be sad about. There ain't nothing to be mean about. Yeah, just be you. Not be me about town, about now, about here, about there. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be everywhere at once. But I do want to see the sights. Except, I know where home is in life. I could still be happy being me wherever I'm at, as long as I sleep at night. Slugs are a lot like snails, just without shells. Because of this, it's called escargot. Different food choices. I bit into one accidentally the other night, and I was like, that actually might be pretty good. I mean, I do eat snails. I'll coil it around a stick like a hot dog. Cooked up. Just right. Maybe over campfire, maybe pan fried with some butter, cream cheese, some lox, or just by themselves. Salt and butter, because you cook them and then you salt them. Or not at all. I wonder if snails do that. I never tried it with one. I guess I always just eat them instead. Anyway, there's also a lot of berries around right now. And it is salmon season. If you're hungry, it's kind of your own fault. Subsistence lifestyles are some of those things that people and rural communities have to take advantage of because it's good for them and because it's what they like. And if they don't, well, that's on them. They're missing out. And yet, all that's worth money too. The thing is it's not worth it if you don't get to do it yourself because it's healthy for you. And yet, how people make money is their own business. Whether it's fishing or whatnot, if they're always getting ripped off though and they're a good worker, then they're not going to want to keep doing that type of business or whatever. So because of that, they're just going to have to do something else to make money because, hey, you got to eat. It's better to eat stuff that's healthy for you and makes you feel good, and that's what ended up tasting good too, than it is to not. You eat one food too long, sure, it might be your favorite food, but you're going to want to try something else because it's just like, well, your body gets sick of that one thing and it says, I'm going to have a different meal for dinner. Even if it's your favorite meal. You're like, I'm so full off of that food, I'm going to have to eat something else. Women aren't like that. They're like, they get better looking the older they get, or maybe it's just the longer you're with them. So it's not the older they get, it's just the longer you're with them. So you end up liking them more and more. But if it's not meant to be because they're abusive or something, then it's not meant to be. People don't like to be abused. It's really, if a kidnapper kidnaps somebody and they're nice to them, the person they kidnapped, then the person falls in love with their kidnapper. It's called Stockholm. But they fall in love with them because they're nice to them, not for any other reason. Everybody else hadn't been nice to them, so they found somebody that was nice to them, even if it was just a kidnapper, and because of that, they fell in love, or something like that. But they weren't a-holes, you know. That's the thing. People don't like to be abused. And it makes abusive people. But that's not an excuse. But sometimes it doesn't make a difference because it doesn't actually, let's just say, sometimes they're not abusive on purpose. It's just because it's been done to them and they don't recognize you as anybody else but maybe a family member. So because of that, they don't realize, oh, you're not the person that did this to me and made me so neurotic. I shouldn't take it out on you. You're just my family member that is trying not to be neurotic too. But who knows? It's hard to know the difference between right and wrong and how to play the rules of the game that other people play if you've never been taught the rules and you've never been around people that knew the difference. But that doesn't give you the excuse to try and make it more difficult for somebody else when they're not a bad person and not doing it to you.